Hi, I have just made this channel and I wanted my first video to be about how to use FireAlpaca for your Roblox designs because a lot of people have asked me. So here are the basics. So first, of course, I need to open my template. I already have everything together, but you guys are probably going to put it together separately. I have everything in a folder, different templates, and a grayscale tone behind it. So once I've got my templates ready, I'm going to show you what type of brushes I use to design with. First one is pencil. I use that for basically my outlines, my bases. This is the size I usually use for my outlines, and I fill in with like a way bigger size. I used to shade with it, but I don't use this anymore to shade. I use this brush instead. It's really good for creases and just anything you want to be sharper when you're drawing. So I usually put on the stabilizer with it. I keep it on 100 for this brush. It's probably way too high. I sometimes put it on 50, but I'm pretty shaky without it, so. All of the blending I use is with the mix tool. I basically just use it for everything. It's really helpful. I use small sizes for it when I'm doing like creases, wrinkles. And I usually make it bigger if I'm doing bigger chunks of shading. This is how I basically use a smudge tool. So I would place a line that I want to like blend out, and I would get a brush slightly bigger than the actual size of it and just like blend it out so it smudges down on one side and keeps sharp on the other. This example sucks, but you know what I mean. I keep my opacity of the mix tool on 3% and stabilize is usually on 10 because that's just what is easiest for me, but it could be different for everyone, so just experiment with it. When I'm designing, I don't really use any other brushes, but I do have this custom brush that I sometimes use. I barely use it, but it's kind of helpful, so this is the settings I have. I accidentally didn't click on the full thing. I'm sorry. I've been doing this the whole time, but in case you didn't see it, to make a new layer, you need to click the paper icon, which is right underneath the layer category. And if you'd like to delete a layer, you click the little bin icon. Another helpful thing to use is the folders. You can basically just keep all of your layers and other folders inside of it, so everything stays organized and easy to access. I use this quite a lot for my designs because it makes things so much easier. Another helpful feature is clipping layers, so when you're trying to shade one of your designs, you can basically have your base and click this button right over there that says clipping, so all of your shading will stay on your base instead of going outside the lines. And right above it, there is an opacity which you can just adjust by sliding it and change the blending if you like as well. I forgot to show this, but the two pieces of paper for the layers is duplicate, and the one right next to it with the arrow pointing down is how you merge a layer. Another thing you can do is blurring stuff, which is under filter, and you can basically just use it for anything small that needs to be blurred. I don't really use it, but it's helpful. And then right under the same category, there is noise. So you can just like add noise to your designs if you'd like it to have extra texture. If you'd like to resize something, there is an option called transform, which is underneath the category select. And you can basically just click on that once you have something you want to like adjust the size of, and you can customize it however you'd like. So I was just playing around with it for a bit, but at the bottom you can see like these three different options for the quality. I always keep mine on the smooth option because it looks the best for like everything, but it's up to you. You can like try them out when you're resizing stuff. The eraser tool is right underneath the pen tool, and I only use these two when I'm erasing on my designs. Another feature that I love is the grid tool, which is right on the side of Snap. It's the third one on there, and you can just draw straight lines using it. But you'd have to turn it off before you start drawing regular lines again. The third button down from the pen is the tool that lets you move things. So if you accidentally place something in the wrong place, you can just move it around into the right place. The eighth button down is the select tool, so you can basically select something from your layer and do whatever you want with it. Because it won't affect anything outside of the selected area. Now we're going to have a look at the brushes. So under the brush category, there's like this little button that you can click and you can basically see the brush store and get whatever brush you want. There's so many options and I've used a couple of these, so I recommend going through it. Some of the brushes I have got includes polka dots. This is quite helpful actually. I do recommend this one. And there is also some lace brushes which could be used for designs, but I draw all of my lace so I don't actually use them. Then there's stitches which are also very helpful. I recommend these ones. The Twinkling Stars brush is really good if you like to add sparkles to your Roblox designs, so that might be worth getting as well. That was about it for the brushes. There's probably more, but I must have forgotten, so I also wanted to mention that for transferring my templates and recoloring designs, I actually use Paint on Air. I do not use FireAlpaca. I almost forgot to show this, but the way I flip like my layers is by clicking on layer at the top, rotate, and then flip horizontally. It might be the hard way, but I can't figure out what the other way is. If you like to rotate your canvas, the arrow buttons on your keyboard actually can turn it around. And if you go on edit at the top, you can also flip it and rotate it. Thank you so much for watching. That's basically it for this video. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments and please subscribe for more design tutorials.